Hi there, and welcome to this week's episode of the Accepted Authority podcast. My name is Greg Roworth, and each week I'm your host on this podcast series where we discuss challenges around growing your consultancy practice. And most of those challenges that we are looking at are overcome by what we term authority positioning, hence the name of the podcast. So most of the challenges that we see in growing a successful consultancy firm revolve around getting significant and consistent number of client opportunities that turn into client engagements. Now, there is really no way to grow and scale a consultancy practice until you have a consistent and predictable client acquisition process. Therefore, this challenge is what we focus on mostly in the podcast. And today I wanted to refer to a number of mistakes that I see people making in their marketing. And it's these mistakes that really kill your opportunities or really reduce the effectiveness of any marketing expenditure or time expenditure in trying to attract your premium level clients. So in today's podcast episode, I'm going to talk about some of the critical mistakes I see, some of the more typical mistakes that I see consultants making to market their services and their practices, and also refer to the fact that when you systemize an effective marketing process, you can actually virtually create a client-generating machine. Now, instead of the mistakes undermining the success of your marketing, the successful, effective machine can bring you clients at will. And I'm sure that's what we would all love. And I've proved in my previous firms that I've started, grown and sold, and also with the clients I work with now, that setting up a marketing machine, a systematic client acquisition process is the key to growth of a successful consultancy firm. So let's first of all talk about some of the mistakes. And the first one is very common, and I hear this a lot. And typically it comes after a failed marketing effort. And what I hear clients and other consultants saying when they attempt to do some marketing that doesn't actually generate any new clients, what is said is, well, at least we got our name out there. Now, that to me is probably my pet hate in talking to consultants in their total misunderstanding of what marketing is about. And I say that in regard to the fact that when we think at least we got our name out there, that somewhere out there in the ether, when somebody wants the types of services that we offer, our name being out there will be something they see and they'll come to us. Well, I've got to tell you, if that's your belief, and what I really find about these mistakes is that all these mistakes are caused because of faulty beliefs about marketing. So that belief that putting your name out there causes people to do marketing in a way that larger organizations do brand advertising. Now, as small consultancy firms, we just don't have the budgets to do enough brand advertising to get our name out there effectively. Yes, our marketing efforts go out there, but they fall on deaf ears. They fall on stony ground, if you like to refer back to a well-known parable. These marketing efforts go nowhere, and our name being out there is like the seed on the ground that just gets washed away, and therefore it's no longer there when someone needs your services. So to think that getting your name out there is of any value whatsoever is a totally wrong belief, a misconception that you must eradicate. Now, let me put it another way. The way to achieve success in marketing is not to get your name out there to everybody who may possibly want your services. The aim is to get their name in here in your database. We don't want your name out there. We want their name in our database so that we then have permission to repeatedly communicate with them without spamming. We're not talking about spammy type advertising or marketing. We are talking about delivering real value in your marketing that people actually want to receive. So they give you permission to send them that valuable contribution to their business or their life that you've created to get their name in your database. So forget about getting your name out there. Make all of your marketing efforts about getting their name in your database. Now, a second belief or mistake that I see based on a faulty belief that everyone could be your client. And what I see happening is that most of the marketing I see, and the most common place we see that these days is on your websites. And the websites I see, and I've spoken about this previously in podcasts, are all about you and your services. And you're trying to attract the widest audience or trying to reach the widest possible audience that might benefit from those services. And while it's true that potentially you can serve a lot of different types of people or organizations, and that there is a wide variety of potential clients that you could serve, the reality is when your marketing is broad and general, you really fail to have any attraction power in the types of messages that have to be watered down to be that general. So generalized marketing to attract a wide audience is typically ineffective. What is effective is laser-focused, targeted marketing directed to your ideal clients. Now imagine the difference. If you understand exactly who are your best clients, you know exactly what their main challenges and issues are that you solve, you can target that problem for that particular client, and your messaging in your marketing can be very specific and targeted so that when they hear that or see that, they will first of all find it relevant to them. It will get their attention, and they will then want to go further and deeper with that to find out more. Now, this is the biggest challenge in marketing is, first of all, to get someone's attention and retain their attention so they take notice of your marketing. So when your marketing is bland, when it's attempting to attract a wide audience, typically there's not enough relevance. It's too general for people to pay attention to it. Therefore, you don't get your material read or consumed, and you don't get leads. When your marketing material is laser focused on your ideal client's specific problems and challenges, they're the things that get attention. If you call out someone and say, do you have this problem? People are going to prick their ears up and say, hey, you're talking about me. What have you got to say? So it's just psychology, plain simple psychology 101. We need to call out someone specifically to get their attention, then retain their attention by making what we have to say relevant to them and their specific needs. So don't continue with broad generalized advertising and marketing to attract a wide audience because, well, I don't have to tell you the results that is achieving for you. You already know that it doesn't work. So instead, start to develop a laser-focused target market where you can deliver messages that are specifically relevant and attractive to them. Now, the third belief and mistake that tends to happen, and again, it's aligned with this one that we've just talked about, is that the belief that your ads and your website, your marketing, should focus on your company and what you sell. And again, we've talked about this in the previous episodes of the podcast, but having marketing that is focused on you and what you do, again, does not attract. People don't find your services relevant to them until they know how those services solve a specific problem that they have. So again, the solution to this type of marketing is not to make your marketing all about you. You know, people, and particularly in consulting services, people cannot be sold. We cannot sell consultancy services. We can't go out there and shop our services around and say, here, do you want to buy some consulting? It doesn't work that way. We have to, first of all, identify that someone has a specific problem, and then we can approach them and say, do you have this problem? Do you need that solved, or would you like some help solving that? Then people will say, well, yeah, if you can do that, I'm interested. So that is the difference. Again, Psychology 101. People do not want us to sell our services to them. They want us to solve problems that they have. So if your marketing, again, is focused on who you are and what you do, you know the results that is achieving. Again, so my recommendation is to flip that on its head and change it to be all about your clients, all about, first of all, who they are and the problems they have, the problems that you solve for them, and to identify a specific approach to solving their problem that is better described than any of your competitors are describing it. I won't say it has to be totally different, although that's an advantage. If you can solve those problems in a different way than the rest of your competitors, you're on a winner. But my experience is it doesn't need to be a different approach. You just need to describe it differently from the norm. You need to describe your solution in a way that makes it stand out as a unique solution that you only offer. So having your own terminology about the processes you perform, having your own specific steps in a process, or really spelling out the results of those steps, the outcomes that you achieve, rather than just listing off, here's what we do. Again, making it specific to your target market, focusing on them and their issues first, creates attraction. And that attraction gives you the opportunity then to really market your services more effectively and have people coming to you ready to buy. You will find that when people understand exactly how you can solve their biggest challenge, you'll potentially have people beating a path to your door. Maybe not quite as much as that, but you definitely have people turning up already wanting your services. And my experience is that people are really pre-sold. They come to you saying, we want what you do, and we need you to solve our problem. How much different is that than when people maybe give you a call and say, we'd like a proposal from you. You know, your services seem to be around what we need. We think we need the things that you do. Come and give us a proposal, along with 3 or 4 others that are going to do the same. It's a totally different ball game when you can achieve that level of authority in your marketing. And we come back to being the accepted authority. So making your marketing position you as the authority in the market, and doing that by adding value in your marketing, being the educator in your marketing, being the relevant solution provider to your ideal clients through your marketing. When you can achieve that, your ideal clients come to you just wanting your help and almost name your own price, because they understand the value of that solution is way worth much more than what it costs to get the solution. So they're just 3 of the typical mistakes that I see consultancy firms making with their marketing. And I've identified 10 specific mistakes that most consultancy firms make, if not all. I won't say every single consultancy firm makes, because there are a few standouts that are really successful firms that do exceptional marketing. But the run-of-the-mill general marketing I see is full of these mistakes. So if you're struggling to achieve the consistency and predictability around client attraction and client acquisition that you really want, then I would suggest that you're making at least one, if not more, of these 10 mistakes. So we're just about out of time for our podcast today. I can't go through all 10, but what I've done is put together a guide that lists all 10 mistakes and a bit of a description about the underlying beliefs that create those mistakes, and then how you can turn your marketing around to make it as reliable as a machine. So if you would like a copy of that guide, you can access that free from my website. So I'll list the link. I'll put the link to get that in the show notes here. So you should see that somewhere below the podcast in the notes. So have a look for the link for the 10 mistakes guide and take advantage of that free offer. Get a copy of that guide and make sure that you're not making one of these mistakes that is going to kill your marketing efforts, make your marketing ineffective and virtually a waste of time and effort. So that's all for our authority or accepted authority podcast today. If you want to know more about how you can get help from me, then reach out through my website at businessflightpath.com or find me on LinkedIn or Facebook. Do a search for Greg Roworth and you'll find me, and give me a direct message there to reach out, say hi, like your stuff. How can you help? And we can have a chat. So this is it for the Accept Authority podcast today. I'm Greg Roworth. Catch you all next week.